Welcome back to Wildlife Wednesday. It's springtime in Montana. The snow is melting, the flowers are getting ready to bloom, and birds that breed here are preparing to raise their young. We have over 400 bird species that can be found in Montana, and each one has a unique way of finding, building, and maintaining a place to safely raise their chicks from this to this. Some birds build nests, which are temporary shelters used to raise and protect their young. Some of these nests are huge. The biggest nests are built by bald eagles. They can be as big as your room and as heavy as a car. Some nests are teeny tiny, like this tiny hummingbird nest. They're small, but they're extremely strong. Hummingbirds will use materials that can stretch and grow with their chicks, like feathers, plant down, and lichen, and they even use silk from spider webs to hold their nest together and hold it to the branch. The most common kind of nest to find is a cup nest. These sturdy nests are ideal for altricial birds, or birds that are born blind and helpless and need a lot of care and protection from their parents. Birds will use a wide variety of materials and will create the cup shape of the nest by turning and pressing their breasts against the bottoms and sides, like this Swainson's thrush is demonstrating. Some birds, like Bullock's orioles, are expert weavers and will weave intricate nests out of grasses and fibers, while other birds hardly build a nest at all, like killdeer, who create a small scrape in the ground. And we can't forget our cavity nesters, like this female American kestrel. Cavity nesters nest in cavities or holes, like a hole created in a tree by a woodpecker, a hole in a cactus or the side of a cliff, or even a nest box or birdhouse provided by people like you. Some birds rely on really specific landscapes to nest. In eastern Montana, burrowing owls have an intricate relationship with native grasslands and the animals that inhabit them. They use abandoned animal burrows created by badgers, ground squirrels, and prairie dogs to nest. Honestly, I haven't even touched on half of the amazing kinds of nests you can find in the wild. But no matter what kind of nest you find, it's really important to remember a couple of things. First of all, give birds their space. They're spending a lot of energy building and maintaining their nests and feeding their young. The last thing we want to do is get close and stress them out even more. Get yourself a pair of binoculars so you can watch them safely from afar. It's also important to remember that different birds have different life histories and ways of raising their young. If you do find a baby bird on the ground with no feathers, it's perfectly fine to carefully pick it up and put it back in the nest. The parents will not care that you touched it. If you find a healthy looking and feathered fledgling on the ground, that bird is probably totally fine and still being cared for. So leave it alone and let it stay wild. If you are worried about a baby bird, you can call your local wildlife rehab center. Thanks for coming to another Wildlife Wednesday. We'll see you next week.